Hello! Today, you will hear a story about a man's revenge. My life was very ordinary. I didn't have any particular desire for anything. From a young age, I helped my uncle repair cars. I liked it. And soon I was already working in a car repair shop. This job helped me earn good money. At least that's how it seemed to me. Ngoda was hard. I could work until late. My hands were often black and didn't wash very well. But I didn't complain. I loved fixing cars. One evening after a hard day at work, I was returning home. I wanted to take a walk on the way home. So I decided to take a walk suddenly. I noticed a girl not far from me who was crossing the road at a pedestrian crossing. She was wearing headphones and looked only at the phone, not looking around. I saw a car go by at high speed. I started yelling at the girl, but she didn't hear me. Then I ran up, grabbed the girl, and together we fell to the side of the road just at the moment when a car flashed past us. That's the bastard. Didn't even slow down. Girl, how are you? I said, helping the girl up. Everything seems to be fine. Thank you, young man. In general, I lost my head with this phone. My pleasure. Just please be more careful. I may not be able to save you again, I said with a smile. May I know the name of my savior? The girl asked. My name is Kelvin. What is your name? I'm Nancy. Nice to meet you, Nancy. Me too. Nancy answered coquettishly. I'm going towards the road bridge. I have a house there. If you are on the way, we can walk together. Yes. And I, approximately, need to be in this area. I will gladly accept your offer. I'm still a little scared after this incident. I don't want to go alone. That's great. Let's go. It was a fateful meeting with my future wife. From that moment on, my life changed. Time flies quickly. I did not notice how 19 years have passed in marriage with Nancy. I liked our life together, although not everything was smooth. But I'm used to hardships in life. Therefore, he always tried to find a common language with Nancy. I love my wife madly. No matter how hard the day was, I still returned home in a good mood because my beloved Nancy was waiting for me there. I took on the responsibility of providing for our family. Nancy took care of the house, and I worked like hell, jumping at any opportunity to earn extra money. I have worked for a long time at one car service. Initially, it was good. My boss was, of course, still that rogue. He did not miss the opportunity to save money on everything except himself. But at that time, I was already a good specialist, so he paid me on time. But it was not always so. Over time, the boss began to delay my salary as well. Kelvin, I'm going to talk to you. My boss, Rob, contacted me. Rob, don't tell me you're withholding my payment again. I replied with indignation. Kelvin, well, you enter my position. I try as best I can. But we are going through hard times right now. Creditors are pushing me from all sides. Rob, how much can you? I understand everything. I have been plowing for several months without days off. I also do night work. I do all this for a reason. I need money, Kelvin, and I am grateful to you for this. You help my business stay afloat. I appreciate your hard work, and in the near future, I will be able to pay you much more. You just need to be patient. Such conversations have not been uncommon lately. Rob kept coming up with new reasons why he couldn't pay me my full salary. Things were not going well at home either. Calvin, honey. You seem to have promised to provide for our family. I need to update my wardrobe, and when will we finally fly on vacation? Honey, I understand everything. I try as best I can. Now it's just hard work. My boss constantly invents something so as not to pay money. Well, of course. Your boss is at fault. It's all your fault. Don't you think the problem is with you? Maybe you're doing something wrong. And Rob is a wonderful man. He keeps his business. And you have nothing. Nancy, what are you talking about? This freak is just a real miser. And I work hard all the time, and I try only for you. I don't know what you can do all this time and not bring home normal money. I don't need your excuses. You just make me think I married a loser. Such antics on the part of Nancy happen more and more often. I was very sorry to hear this because I tried my best. Money didn't come easy to me. It was hard work, but Nancy didn't seem to understand that at all. And it was also very strange for me to hear from her that she took the side of my boss every time. I've noticed before how she smiles when she sees Rob. Nancy, you are simply amazing today. I suddenly heard when I was digging under the car. I got out from under the car and saw the sweet communication of Rob and Nancy. Rob, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And you still look good. Nancy answered coquettishly. Here I approached them. Nancy, what are you doing here? I asked. Yes. I decided to drop by to visit you to see what you are doing. Here, Nancy, Calvin has a lot of work. Let's not distract him. Let's go to my office. I'll treat you to coffee. Rob said politely. Great. I won't refuse. My wife happily agreed. I was evil as hell. I thought I was going to break a wrench in half. I had to plow here while they had a nice conversation and drank coffee. Kelvin, why the hell are you putting up with all this? He stupidly glues your wife in front of your eyes. My partner, Stan, responded. Stan, I'm not happy myself. Excuse me, of course, but I'll sort it out myself. Got it, Calvin, got it. Just don't boil. It's just that Rob is still such a beast. I wouldn't leave my wife with him for a minute. It seemed that this day could not be worse, but I was very wrong. Turns out, when Nancy and Rob were having a nice chat while I was working, Nancy invited the bastard over to our house. Nancy, what the hell are you doing? I asked my wife angrily, and what is wrong? Nancy replied indignantly. Why the hell did you invite Rob to visit us without consulting me? Actually, I wanted to have a romantic evening tonight. So I bought groceries. Kelvin, don't yell at me. It's good that you bought it. There will be something to feed our guest. And I appreciate your idea. Well, let's move our dinner alone to another day. Sorry for the lack of advice. I just wanted to do the best. I try for you. Rob will appreciate you a lot more. You'll see. I do not understand how his visit to our house will help me to establish communication with him. This is a rare asshole that has already got me. Don't talk nonsense. In the evening, we will talk in an informal setting and everything will be fine. I was just in shock. Soon, Rob arrived with a large bouquet of flowers for my wife. He started hugging my wife like she was his wife. He gave me a bottle of wine, and my wife told me to take the bottle and put it on the table. It was a hell of an evening for me. I watched Rob gobble up my birthday dinner on both cheeks. Nancy, I'm sorry, but how did such a precious stone end up in Calvin's hands? Calvin, buddy, take care of her. I'd love to steal her. Rob started joking. Don't worry, Rob. I will definitely take care of my wife. And you should have found your destiny a long time ago and not showered compliment on other people's wives. I answered. Kelvin, don't be angry, but I'm joking. Just admire the beauty of Nancy. You are very lucky to have her. I'm the real loser here. I would like to be a family man, but it does not work out. Rob, don't worry, you will definitely find your other half. Nancy began to comfort him. Looking at this picture, I just wanted to puke. I counted the minutes, and finally, Rob was gone. Nancy liked the evening, and she indignantly told me that I behaved like an asshole today. We had a big fight, and I didn't talk to Nancy for a long time. But in the end, we reconciled. Rob came up to me one day at work. Calvin, buddy, I understand that you have a lot of work, but I have a request for you. I have something in the gearbox junk. Look, please. What's wrong with her? Okay, Rob. Leave the car. I'll take a look if possible. When I started to inspect Rob's car, I got behind the wheel to check the gear shift. My phone fell out right under the seat, and I could not find it to get it. I looked under the seat and shone the flashlight. I took out my phone along with a piece of cloth. They were women's underwear. They were exactly like my wife's. We also went to a luxury branded underwear store where Nancy spent 3 hours choosing them, so I remembered them well. I had sweat on my forehead. My heart was beating wildly. Was Nancy cheating on me? That evening, I came home very angry, but I tried not to show my emotions. Nancy, listen, I would like to play pranks with you tonight. Could you wear that expensive underwear I gave you tonight? Honey, I'm not in the mood today. Sorry. And that underwear turned out to be some kind of fake. It broke quickly, and I threw it away. I didn't want to talk so as not to upset. After all, you paid well for it. Yes. Very sorry. But don't worry. We'll buy you a new one. I said. Heavy thoughts began to swirl in my head. I looked at Nancy and began to remember all those moments when she went somewhere, talked to someone on the phone. Could she really lie to me at all these moments? I went crazy. I concluded that my hysteria would not help the cause if Nancy cheated on me. She clearly was not going to admit it. So I decided to follow her. But initially, I decided to dig into Rob's business. This slippery worm was clearly hiding something, and I decided to find out what it was. I stayed to work the night shift. There was not much work. I was alone, and I was able to get into Rob's office without difficulty. I noticed a long time ago what code Rob entered for the safe. So it was easy to open the safe. There were strange documents here. I began to dig into them and found out just incredible things. This gal was spending all his money on buying cars illegally. He bought them cheaply, forged documents, and resold them at crazy prices while not paying taxes. It was a very dirty scheme. I was terribly pissed off. The income was simply colossal, and this gal swore that he could not pay my salary in full. Which seemed like a ridiculous amount against the backdrop of all these numbers. Once I took time off from work to deal with personal matters, Wi-Fi said that me needed to go and visit my parents. Nancy stayed at home, but I myself got into a car nearby and began to watch the house. Soon Nancy came out of the house looking as happy as ever, dressed brightly and in makeup like a hall going to work tonight. I followed her. Soon I saw how she went into a cafe and sat down at a table where a man was already sitting. I looked up and saw Rob. That bastard was talking to Nancy with a smile from ear to ear. Soon they left the cafe together and drove somewhere. I followed them. They drove straight to the car service where there was no one else. Here's the bastard. He dragged my wife straight to the car service. Even the motel didn't want to rent. Spitefully, but ironically, I thought. When they got out of the car and went inside, I followed them. I crept very close and heard their voices. Nancy, honey, why did your husband leave you? Rob asked sarcastically. He went to his parents. At least I got a break from him. I can't look at his face anymore. When are you taking me to the Bahamas? But you promised. Soon, baby, soon. I'll finish my business, and we'll get out of here, and I'll leave your husband to deal with all the problems. This stupid bastard will be the scapegoat and you and I will be covered in chocolate. Now let's talk, less undress. I can't wait. Rob said excitedly. That bastard climbed on my naked wife. At that moment, I kicked the door open and burst inside. In my hand was a tire iron, which I smacked on the head of this bastard. He fell to the floor unconscious. And you that, bitch, not expected? You shameless creature. I said angrily. And grabbed Nancy by the arm. Calvin. What are you doing here? Calvin, it's not my fault. Let go, should your fucking mouth? I said and stuffed Nancy into the trunk. Then I pulled Rob into the car and grabbed some car tires. I drove out into the field and climbed to the top of a considerable hill. Then I got these bastards out of the car and put tires on their torsos. Then I brought Rob to his senses with a punch to the face. And put them side by side. Well, creatures. I know everything about you. I heard your conversations. Rob, stop your dirty deals. I know all about them. Kelvin. I'm sorry. Kelvin. Yes, Kelvin. It was a mistake. Please let me go. How old, Nancy? No, creatures. I will not let you go without participating in the competition. Whoever rolls down the mountain first will receive the title of the main bastard in this story. Because I don't know which one of you is worse. Yes, Nancy. Here are your underpants. I found them in Rob's car. Rob, open your stinking mouth before I knock out all your teeth. Rob opened his mouth and I shoved these underpants right into his mouth. For you, Nancy, there is no present. You can pick up your dirty panties from Rob when you're down the hill. Now roll. I shouted and pushed them with my foot. These creatures rolled down quickly. They yelled like pigs. I didn't wait for them to land. I didn't care anymore. I got into the car and left. I handed over all the documents that I found in Rob's safe to the prosecutor's office. I was greatly appreciated because I helped solve a huge scam. So Rob now has to spend many years behind bars. And I successfully divorced Nancy. This creature was left with a bear as the court took into account the circumstances. I continued my life. It was not easy to throw so many years out of my life, but I was confident in my future. I opened my own workshop and my business went up. Dear listeners, your support is very important to us. If you like our story, please like, comment and subscribe. It's very motivating for us.